What is a credit score and how important is it? What makes a good or bad credit score? We are getting an education this morning with Shawn Stack from Bromwich+Smith. Shawn, you have answers to these questions and more. I'll be listening intently to question number one. What is the function of a credit score?
Well, first off, thanks for having me on again to talk about this stuff. I think it's extremely important that we are considering all of these things, particularly now with the pandemic and what's happening in Alberta. So really, the function of a credit score, it's a reputation, and it's a reputation that creditors will use in order to determine whether or not you have available income that they can loan money and make interest on, and also, are you paying on time? Are you carrying a balance? And because what's important to understand here is that creditors aren't loaning money out of this sense of benevolence where they get up in the morning and say, hey, I want to do good deeds. And not to say that they want to do bad deeds, but really what they want to do is they want to make interest. So it's really a tool that allows creditors to help make interest off you.
So how concerned should we be about our credit score?
Well, I mean, arguably, we should be concerned about our reputation all of the time. So when we look at, and I don't mean that to the point of complete confusion and worrying about, hey, what does everyone think about us? But we should be, because we're using a credit score to assess how we're functioning within society's parameters, you should be concerned about that reputation. And we should do our best to honor what our commitments are. And we should be caring about what other people think of us as a member of the community, particularly in the credit side of things.
Now, I imagine there's a lot of Google searches that begin with, how do I check my credit score? So if you can answer that for us, and is this something that we should be checking regularly?
Absolutely. You should definitely be checking your credit score because you want to know what the creditors are looking at when you're looking to borrow money. It's sort of like before you come on television, you want to make sure you don't have anything in your teeth.
Oh, yeah.
Same thing with your credit score. You want to make sure, have you checked your credit score? So you're able to request that from the creditor granting agencies, or reporting agencies, Equifax or TransUnion. There's also a really fantastic app that you can get on your phone called Verify Me that connects with your business, with your bank, and it can use biometrics, so you can get your credit score that way.
Okay, so what about when someone is in over their heads, like so many Albertans are right now? How do we maintain a good credit score in that situation?
So, and this is a really important thing because a lot of us are facing this right now. So in order to maintain a good credit score, what we want to make sure of is that we're never going over 50% of our available credit. We also want to make sure that we're paying our balances down on the credit cards each month. And a great way to sort of build it up is set up automatic payments for something like Netflix or Disney or something where it's going to come out of your credit, off of your credit card, and then immediately your bank's going to move that money into your. So it's building it automatically that way.
All right, now the million-dollar question. If we have a bad credit score, how can we improve it?
Yes, the million-dollar question. And unfortunately, that's the sort of the million-dollar debt issue as well in a lot of ways. Because when we have a bad credit score, it's because what's occurred is we've been unable to pay our debts as they become due. And one of the difficult things that's happening when we're in that situation is we actually become isolated from our social network, and we become isolated from our friends and family, and we don't have an ability to talk about it. So when we're in this bad situation, what we want to do is we want to talk to our creditors and let them know this is what the circumstances are, and this is how I'm going to correct that. Now, understanding that just like if you and I were meeting for lunch and I'm running late, they're going to want to know a date when you can get this, make this payment. When am I going to be at the restaurant for lunch, assuming that they stay open? Now, the important thing here is that if you're unable to make this arrangement on your own, we do have very powerful legislation through the federal government, that's through licensed insolvency trustees, that allow us to assist people to restructure their debts through a consumer proposal. It does take a hit on your credit, but there's actually ways to rebuild your credit while you're under a proposal. And if you visit my website, I have a section there that talks about impacting on credit, and there's a bunch of great information and blogs on that as well.
Well, you're so helpful. Clear as a bell. Thank you so much for breaking that down for us, Shawn, as always. For more financial advice, you can find a link to Bromwich+Smith at ctvedmonton.ca under Morning Live.